Hello students, today we are covering lesson 10.1 on outcomes and events. Please follow along in your textbook on page 402. Our key idea is found on page 402. I would just like you to write down key ideas in the page number, maybe also include the title, outcomes and events. You do not need to copy down this entire section because it's too lengthy. I would just like you to know where to reference it. So our key idea says an experiment is an investigation or a procedure that has varying results. The possible results of an experiment are called outcomes. A collection of one or more outcomes is an event. The outcomes of a specific event are called favorable outcomes. So I know this included a lot of vocabulary. So to break it down, here's a better example. Let's say you randomly selected a marble from a group of marbles in an experiment. So here we have a group of marbles. We're going to draw a marble, and that's our experiment. Each marble in the group is an outcome. So looking at the outcomes, we have purple, blue, green, yellow, red, and green. Selecting a green marble from the group is an event. So our event will be selecting a green. Now, since we're choosing green, that is our favorable outcome. So the number of favorable outcomes would be 2 because there are 2 green. So let's try example 1, identifying outcomes, page 402. You roll this number cube. What are the possible outcomes? Now, when it asks you for the possible outcomes, it wants you to list all the possibilities. You could roll a 1, so we list 1. You could roll a 2, a 3, 4, 5, or 6. So there are 6 possible outcomes. The favorable outcomes, B says, what are the favorable outcomes of rolling an even number? So the even numbers on the cube are 2, 4, or 6. Now it says, what are the favorable outcomes of rolling a number greater than 5? So on the number cube, there's only one number that's greater than 5, and that's the number 6. So there's only one way, and the only way to roll it is to land on a 6. So all you had to do is just list the outcomes. I'd like you to try on your own number 1, parts A and B. So you randomly choose a letter from a hat that contains the letters A through K. I want you to list all the possible outcomes. So list the letters A through K for part A. And then part B, what are the favorable outcomes of choosing a vowel? So your vowels from A through K just need to be listed. Example 2 is counting outcomes. Page 403. So you spin the spinner here. How many possible outcomes are there? So now we're just counting. I'm going to start with purple and move clockwise. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outcomes that are possible to land on. Part B. In how many ways can spinning red occur? So you can spin a red here, here, and here. So there are 3 ways to land on red. So when it asks how many ways, you list or you write the number of how many times you can land. Now, part C. In how many ways can spinning not purple occur? What are the favorable outcomes of spinning not purple? So the first question says how many ways are not purple. So I'm counting all of them that are not purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to not land on purple. Now, for the second question, it says, what are the favorable outcomes of spinning not purple? So you need to list all 5 ways. You can land on red. You can land on blue. You can land on this red one, so we list it again. You can land on green. And you can also land on the last red one. So since there are 5 ways, I should have 5 listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 favorable outcomes that are not purple. So make sure you get in the habit of listing all the words. Right now, I'd like you to try number 2 on your own, A, B, and C. You randomly choose a marble. Here are all the marbles. How many possible outcomes are there? So you count the marbles. In how many ways can choosing blue occur? So count the number of ways you land on blue. Part C asks, in how many ways can choosing not yellow occur? So the first question is telling you to find the number of ways you can get a not yellow. So count how many are not yellow. When it asks what are the favorable outcomes of choosing not yellow, this is where you need to list the favorable outcomes. So you need to actually write down all the colors' names. If the color repeats, you list it twice. I hope you have a great evening. Please bring any questions you have to class tomorrow. I will see you then. Bye-bye.